Hey guys, Logan here, and today I'm going to be reviewing a horror movie that came out last month, or early last month I think, Slender Man, a movie about a long, tall, faceless, thin figure that is, I believe, very well known to distort photographs and videos that feature him. That's what I heard, because I heard of this urban legend before, surrounding Slender Man. And this one is about a group of girls, teenage girls rather, discovering the Slender Man, and they found out that one of their friends has disappeared, and in order to try to get one of their friends back, they have to sacrifice everything that they loved to Slender Man in order to get one of their friends back, which includes themselves. I think that's the story for this film, but at the same time, who cares? Because this movie was so boring. This is yet another horror film in the middle of 2018 that has put me to sleep a few times through its entirety. The first time that happened to me was the First Purge, and that was a stupid and terrible and boring film that I think is just one of the worst films I have seen this year, period. Probably the worst film I've seen all year. And this is the second worst horror film I've seen all year, behind The First Purge. Everything about it, save for one, which I will get into in a minute, because this film has only one positive that I have with it, but everything else about it was so bland and so generic and so cliched and uninteresting. You never cared for what happened in the entire film and what characters you root for, because the characters were so bland and uninteresting. The type of characters you usually get in horror films like this is exactly what you get from Slender Man. This movie really has nothing that is very original. Nothing about it is original, actually. A concept, even though it's slightly interesting, it's still not very good. The urban legend part of it, involving Slender Man, some aspects with Slender Man, they were just poorly done. The acting was atrocious. I cannot even believe how atrocious the acting was. Every time a Slender Man pops up, and by the way, the loud jump scares were predictable as hell. You can see every loud jump scare coming from a mile away. That's how predictable they are. But many times, whenever Slender Man whenever Slender Man pops up, few times with loud jump scares, the little girls would be screaming at the top of their lungs so loudly that if it were actually real and you were standing right next to that girl, your ears would be hurting just a bit, and you would just hear her high-pitched scream, and that's how annoying they sound. The script, the screenplay, the directing, and the writing in general were really terrible. This film honestly felt like it was directed by a teen. That's what it felt like to me. A teenage director trying to make this film feel more like a movie that is catering to the teens that usually go and see horror films like Slender Man. That's what it really felt like to me. And I know that the director for this film is not a teenager, but this film certainly feels like it's directed by a teen. The one positive that I have for this film, and the only positive I have for it, is the creepy imagery. I like to a certain extent, the look of this movie. That might include the cinematography and the camera work. Some of the camera work was noticeable. But overall, the cinematography and the creepy imagery in general, the darkness, the dark look and creepiness of it, I will say that's the only good thing I can say about Slender Man, I guess? I honestly felt like I wanted to do something other than sit down and watch Slender Man. That's how boring this film was. I just cannot stand watching horror films, especially for the middle of 2018, the year 2018, that really felt so boring and bland and not scary. And that's the worst part about it. This movie is not scary. There's not a single scary moment to be found in the entire film. And this film presents itself as trying to be scary, even though it's more creepy looking and more boring to watch than scary. That's pretty sad, especially as a horror film. And one last thing before I finish this review with a rating, I want to say that this movie is irrelevant, especially for the story that is taking place few years too late. I believe the urban legend of Slender Man takes place early 2010 or maybe 2012 or 2011. I can't exactly remember the year that the urban legend became popular, but it was somewhere around that time period. And this film was few years too late. This film could have easily been better if it was out sometime after the year that the urban legend of Slender Man became popular. That I believe this film would be better if it was doing that, but because it was because we entered in 2018, this film didn't became so irrelevant enough to actually be interesting. I'm going to give Slender Man a bronze Medal of Honor. Anyway, guys, that is my review for Slender Man. I have a lot more reviews coming to you this week, so stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed my review, please click the like button, and if you have seen this movie, comment below and let me know what you think of it. If you enjoyed what you see here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.